Everywhere in India, you will find tea, no matter where you go from the high peaks of Ladakh to remote parts of Andaman. This hot golden beverage is a regular entertainer, a source of living, a refreshing drink, and an excuse for discussions, a part of gossip culture, and a household tradition in India. Offering tea is a token of hospitality in Indian society. Be the season summer, winter, rainy, or spring, cup of hot tea with a plateful of snacks are a must in service to guests in household across the country. Well, when I say tea, I mean chai. Boiled water with leaves of the tea plants Camellia sinensis, usually with milk and sugar. Thousands of tea vendors earn a daily living by selling tea in different areas, office premises, bus stands, local and express trains. Tea has entered into the political campaign in 2014 federal election in India. Chai Pe Charcha, launched by Narendra Modi, the current Prime Minister of India. 1,000 tea stalls in 300 cities have been brought under the purview of this campaign, which has enabled Narendra Modi to connect with the common working class people at the grassroots level. With the campaign making the headlines, tea is now the national flavor of India. But rewind the clock by 100 years, and tea had not the popularity it enjoys today. So, how did chai get so popular? Let's find out. According to a 2017 study that appeared in Frontier in Plant Science, there are three possible sites where the humans generally began to use and grow tea purposefully, and they are all around the area of southern China, Yunnan province of China, and Assam in India. However, the earliest written records we have indicate that tea started being used as a medicine extensively in China nearly 5,000 years ago. The history of tea drinking in India began with a Buddhist monk about almost 2000 years ago. It so happened that this monk, who later became the founder of Zen Buddhism, decided to spend 7 sleepless years contemplating the life and techniques of Buddha. While he was in the fifth year of his contemplation and prayer, he almost fell asleep. He took some leaves from a nearby bush and began chewing them. These leaves revived him and enabled him to stay awake as he chewed on them whenever he felt drowsy. Thus, he was able to complete his penance for 7 years. These were the leaves of the wild tea plant. As the region spread along the Silk Route, so did tea, which was now a part of Buddhist ceremonies. Tea was happily spreading peace and alertness throughout Asia when in came the Europeans with their fancy ships and trade deals. It was Portugal in the old world who started drinking tea first because they reached to the Far East first. But when the Dutch came next, they were so impressed that they created permanent stations in Java for the purpose of importing tea. They were also the first European to create a habit of daily tea drinking, and from the Dutch, tea drinking spread to the mainland European countries. This was also the first time when Europeans started adding milk to their tea. In 1658, Dutch brought tea was first sold in London, and all of the British high society went mad for this drink. Now, the tea in England was similar to the European milk tea, but they added sugar and they were importing from West Indies. It started being available in coffee houses across England. In 1662, when King Charles II married Princess Catherine of Braganza, a Portuguese princess and avid tea drinker, this made tea a fashionable trend with the English ladies and led to the creation of social event known as tea time, which still exists. So now tea was in high demand in England and the crown wanted to trade directly from China. But at that time, Dutch were strongest with seafaring nations. So they restricted England to only opening stations in India. They did not allow them to trade with China. England already understood that the high demand of tea means huge profits for the future. So they decided to use the land they had newly acquired, India. For many years, there had been rumors that the local Singpo tribes in Assam used to eat tea leaves as vegetable. In 1824, tea samplings were discovered in Assam by the English explorer Robert Bruce and an Indian Maniram Diwan. Also, they found out the rumors to be true. There were wild leaves growing in Assam which were being used as both vegetables and drink for centuries. When British brought the seeds from China and tried to cultivate in Assam, it could not grow because the English researcher could not properly identify the Assam tea bush and they thought that only China tea bush can be called tea and stopped any further investigation. But in Europe the demand kept rising and British East India Company wanted to fully control of the manufacture and import of tea. With that in mind, they created India Tea Committee. In the beginning, the committee kept choosing the wrong locations and wrong tea bushes, ignoring the Assam tea bush and focusing on the China tea bush, not understanding the lower temperature and high altitude. So they fail again and again. As China did not allow to enter anyone in their country, so the process of growing tea was a secret. In 1848, the Scottish botanist Robert Fortune went to China disguised as a Chinese merchant and brought tea seeds, plants, and the knowledge of manufacturing black green teas in India, along with 80 Chinese tea specialists for working in Indian tea gardens. So the samples were planted in Assam and Darjeeling. Because of the Darjeeling's climate similar to Chinese tea gardens climate, tea bush survived, but Assam's warm and humid weather crushed the tea to fail. So the tea committee have researched and identified that the Assam tea bush are different from China bush. So they have started developing new technique to grow tea in Assam and they achieve a great success. The Indian tea was much better in quality and aroma than the China tea and the Assam bush replaced with China bush in India. Later the tea bush was also planted in Nilgiri in South India and Kangra Valley in Himachal Pradesh. Within 50 years, England was completely controlled the tea import and by 19th century, India became the number one tea exporter in the world. Now, since England was setting up the tea industry in India, the early tea ads largely targeted towards them. But Darjeeling Himalayan Railway, which opened in 1878, was symbolically rooted the growth of Indian tea. By 1901, India had grown into a massive market for tea, and in 1903, the Tea Cease Bill was passed regulating cease on tea exports, which would then be used for tea promotion in India and globally. It was after First World War that Indian vendors equipped with stoves and kettles began selling tea at the historic railway stations of Bengal, Punjab, and other frontier provinces. Tea was now heavily advertised to all sections of the Indian society. When tea finally reached common people's home, they added their own ingredients to keep up with their own preferences. Ginger, black pepper, and other spices added according to their taste and medicinal values. And by 1950s, tea reached all India. After independence, tea became India's largest industry and the biggest foreign exchange earner. Tea in India is now not just a beverage, but woven into the fabric of this nation is hard to dispute. Today, no matter where you are in India, you are probably not very far from a chai stall. Little roadside shacks that go by different names in different parts of the country. Tea sold at these humble outlets is often the cheapest, the most delicious, and the ideal refreshment in every kind of weather. And it is impossible to deny that chai garam has woken up several billion more Indians on Indian railways than coffee Nescoffee ever could. So why don't you just sit back, relax and have a cup of tea? Hope you have liked today's video. Share your thoughts and comments with me and don't forget to subscribe this channel. See you next time.